Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a WebAcer software case study by Ajit Kumar that tackles a literal nightmare for SaaS founders and CTOs, rescuing a fragile billing infrastructure. If you've ever dealt with a payment system that feels like a house of cards, you know exactly how critical this is. We're going to look at how they took a highly unstable Authorize.net setup and engineered it into an absolute fortress.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit the revenue leakage problem, the multi-layered architecture, automating subscriptions and security, webhooks and state machines, complex billing scenarios, and wrap up with the business impact. Let's jump in.
Section 1. The revenue leakage problem, the silent killer of SaaS growth. Look, you can have the absolute best product in the market, but if your billing system is quietly leaking revenue, your growth is basically built on quicksand. The client in this case study was facing exactly that. As Ajit points out, they were dealing with silent failures, inconsistent renewals, and revenue leakage. We're not just talking about a tiny glitch here. This was a massive financial and operational risk. Imagine your system failing to charge a customer but literally never telling you about it.
And these inefficiencies snowball, right? The symptoms were glaring. Failed payments happening with zero alerts, completely missing subscription renewals, painful manual reconciliation, and absolutely no transparency in the billing. It's a disastrous domino effect. Your engineers are burning hours digging through logs just to match payments, your support team is completely blind, and churn spikes because accounts are mishandled. It was total chaos that demanded a ground-up rebuild.
Section 2. The multi-layered architecture, the blueprint for a stable revenue engine.
To fix a system that's broken, you don't just slap a patch on it, you rebuild it. The team mapped out 5 distinct layers for the new Authorize.net architecture. Starting at the base, we've got the tokenization layer for security. Then moving up to the subscription engine to handle recurring billing, a webhook engine for communication, a billing state machine for transaction tracking, and topping it all off with admin reporting. This blueprint is exactly how you take a system from pure chaos to totally automated and reliable.
Section 3. Automating subscriptions and security, protecting data and predictable revenue.
First things first, securing that payment data. By using SecureAccept.js for the tokenization layer, they ensured PCI compliance right out of the gate. And we all know that's non-negotiable for platform trust. You absolutely do not want raw credit card data touching your servers. This setup keeps the infrastructure secure and compliant by design.
But hey, security is just half the battle. Retention is the rest of it. In their old setup, an expired card basically meant a broken subscription and a lost customer. Not anymore. The upgraded architecture actively catches expired cards and allows for seamless profile updates. This keeps those automated recurring billing, or ARB workflows, alive and kicking. The customer updates their info, and the subscription just keeps rolling without skipping a beat.
Section 4. Webhooks and state machines, engineering reliability behind the scenes.
Now, this brings us to a classic CTO headache. The case study FAQ hits the nail on the head. What if a webhook fails? What actually happens when a successful renewal triggers at Authorize.net, but fails to reach your server because of a random network blip? Well, in the old system, that data vanished into thin air, causing those silent failures we talked about earlier.
The fix here is robust webhook engineering. Instead of losing data, events are now routed through queued event processing. If the server doesn't respond, it triggers safe event retries. On top of that, they added signature verification and strict validation rules to stop bad actors from spoofing payment events. Wrap all that up with comprehensive audit logging, and you've got a totally defensive setup. Nothing slips through the cracks.
And to tie all those webhooks together, they brought in a billing state machine. This defines the exact life cycle of every single transaction. By mapping transaction states using external reference IDs, it practically wipes out those manual reconciliation nightmares. You literally always know if a payment is pending, succeeded, failed, or refunded, making sure your database perfectly mirrors the payment gateway.
Section 5. Complex billing scenarios, solving the edge cases of SaaS payments.
Real-world SaaS billing is messy, so the new architecture had to anticipate the chaos. Payment fails, the system automatically triggers retries and customer notifications. A refund is issued on the gateway, webhook callbacks automatically sync that status right back to the platform. What if a user upgrades mid-cycle? The system dynamically handles the proratia and cycle adjustments. It keeps the billing impeccably clean no matter what edge case pops up.
I really want to emphasize the strict idempotency safeguards here, which protect against duplicate webhooks. Why is this a big deal? Well, if a network hiccup causes Authorize.net to fire the same successful payment webhook twice, and you process it twice, you've just double-charged your customer. You instantly lose their trust and create a massive support headache. Idempotency guarantees that even if a webhook arrives 5 times, the action only ever happens once. It's an absolute lifesaver.
Section 6. The business impact. From operational chaos to predictable growth.
The payoff for the business was massive and immediate. With this robust, multi-layered architecture in place, silent failures were completely eliminated. The client finally got predictable, stable subscription renewals, and that brutal manual reconciliation workload totally vanished. Plus, centralized admin reporting dashboards gave them full transparency into revenue, cancellations, and refunds. They literally transformed a fragile liability into a secure, scalable revenue engine.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a crucial question to take back to your product and engineering teams today. Is your billing infrastructure leaking revenue, or is it actually driving growth? If you're still relying on manual reconciliation, or you break out in a cold sweat when a webhook drops, it might be time to take a page from this WebEsser software playbook. Thanks for joining me to break this down and keep building.